The CPC product catalogue sponsors this ITV4 programme.
Welcome to Really Caught on Camera. Shops and shopping centres offer the casual thief by far their biggest target. Now our experts talk us through how the mind of a professional shoplifter works.
The total cost of crime committed against retailers in 1994 was a massive £2.15 billion, or put another way, 1/4 of the profits. That means for every hour shops are open, they lose nearly £750,000. It's an enormous social problem which costs every person in the UK an estimated £120 on their shopping bill each year. There were an estimated 15.6 million incidents of shoplifting, but only 548,000 arrests were made. This Birmingham thief is an alcoholic who seems to almost want to be caught. And indeed he was. It's their appearance that gives them away. Body language. Eye, head and hand movements are the key areas to watch. Yawning is a signal of nervousness, as are rapid eye movement and head movements. Other signs are nose picking, playing with the hair, and scratching of testicles. The biggest giveaway is when someone is constantly looking at the staff and not at the goods. There are no stereotypes for a shop thief. Most are opportunistic and stealing for themselves. There are an estimated 2.5 million shop workers in the UK. What many don't realise is how shop theft threatens their job security. If a shop is losing money because of theft, it's quite usual for staff to be dismissed as a way of reducing costs. Well-trained staff can easily deter crime just by being vigilant and visible. 30% of all small shop businesses fail because of theft. Watch as these two are brought back. He grabs the door handle in desperation. If you steal, you can get nicked.
Straight out the door for that gentleman. Now let's take a look at one of the biggest security operations in the country.
There are already over 1 million cameras watching streets, car parks and town and city centres, and there are many, many more on the way, thanks to government grants and initiatives. But it is the private sector that controls the most cameras, which are to be found in offices, private car parks, shops, warehouses and shopping malls like the Lakeside Centre in Essex.
Well, we've basically got over 100 cameras throughout the centre, both internally and externally, and the technology is improving as each year or even each month goes by. The technology on color cameras externally now is extremely good, which enables us to pick out not just figures or makes of vehicles as an example, but gives us color and high definition when required. The value or the cost factor of CCTV compared to personnel is really a no question, because we believe the system is used in conjunction with personnel on the mall floors and not in isolation. The ShopSafe initiative was set up some months ago, nearly probably 18 months ago, which means in effect that it's all the major retailers where they desire to join the system have a two-way radio system communicating between other shop personnel and our own control room. Therefore, the first instance of crime or a suspected crime takes place, we have instant communication and ultimately instant action.
This clip shows how a CCTV system working closely with shop staff and security on the floor can effectively fight back against shop thieves. The lady here is being watched before she even enters this clothing store because staff in the shop she had visited were suspicious of her and called the shopping centre camera control room. Watch as she picks up a pair of jeans and then takes them straight to the reclaim desk. She browses round the shop and has a quick chat to a member of staff. Then she gets her money back on the jeans she claims she bought the day before, which didn't fit her. The man in the parka coat is the head of security who invites the thief into the interview room to wait for the police to arrive.
Without question, with the amount of customers we get, there is a certain amount of undesirables who do attempt to come into the centre. By use of CCTV and personal contact, we are able to pick them up as they arrive at the centre. The CCTV system can then follow them, and should they enter a retail premises, through the ShopSafe system, we can advise the tenants concerned that this undesirable is present, and obviously to keep an open eye on them. Society, regrettably, one could argue, has moved much more towards a criminal society than ever before in our history. And therefore, I believe that CCTV, amongst other security aspects, is becoming more important as time goes by to ensure, again, the safety of our tenants, our staff, and obviously the customer.
Shop security is changing fast. Gone are the days of the retirement age security man on the door. He's been replaced by technology.
Well, there's a major difference between a professional thief, shoplifter, and what we call an opportunist. An opportunist tends to be somebody that comes into the store with the intention of buying something. And this all comes down to good management, good customer service. You come into one of our stores the size that our stores are, the chances are you're not going to have any clue where to find the product you're looking for. Two members of staff having a chinwag with each other, not paying any attention to you, and that's when the little devil appears in your shoulder and you think, well, you know, nobody's paying any attention to me, you know, I'm trying to give them my money, they're not treating me very well, I'll have this. There's your classic case of the opportunist shoplifter. The next thing he knows, he's going out the door and he's getting stopped by security staff.
A mum and her daughter are out jewellery shopping. The daughter tries on this necklace for size, and while the mum watches out, she drops it slowly into her jeans pocket. A different girl, but the same target, stealing cheap jewellery. Watch her hands. But here's proof that not all thieves are ugly like in the movies. This young lady picks up some pieces of jewellery. Watch her hands as she puts them back, picks up some more and slips them under her purse.
professional is someone a bit like you and me. We get up in the morning, you know, we brush our teeth, we have our breakfast, you know, and we go out to work. My job is in loss prevention, his job is in theft. And that's what he does. He's a pro, that's what he does. That's how he supports his family, that's how he pays his mortgage, that's how he supports his habit. That's what he does for a living. He's a professional thief.
Professionals at work on both sides of the fence there. Join us after the break when petty shop theft is caught on camera and the evidence is used to prosecute. Welcome back to Really Caught in the Act. The following segment shows cheeky shoppers pushing their luck and the shop security who catch them out.
Despite all the security innovations of the past decade, like CCTV and electronic tags, shop theft has carried on increasing. Often the only indication that someone has stolen from the shop is an empty coat hanger or torn-off security tag found on the floor or hidden somewhere. The cameras have proved one of the best deterrents, but don't work so efficiently without 100% coverage of the premises, so there are no dead spots where thieves can hide stolen goods and detag them. The cameras also need an alert and well-trained in-store security team and shop staff backed up with a good communication system. The police in charge of Oxford Street alone had 3,597 arrests to carry out last year. Nearly half of those arrested were women, making it one of the few crimes where they match men. Stores are up against teams of professional shop thieves. Some have been around for years and are known faces, often banned from many stores, who share intelligence on thieves in the form of photos and character profiles. Apart from the professionals stealing to profit, shops are also up against those who steal to survive and those who steal to feed a drug habit. Shop theft is a safe option for them because if they mug, burgle or pickpockets, they are much more likely to do time. These thieves are more likely to turn violent if apprehended, and staff have been threatened with needles in the past. No one's quite sure why courts are so lenient on shop thieves, because their activities add hundreds of pounds to every honest shopper's yearly shopping bill. Many shops are forced out of business because of shop theft. This chap has real nerve. Either that or he's completely mad, because it takes him ages to cut through the wires protecting these very expensive handbags. But their nail clippers were not designed for cutting wire. He goes out and comes back in again in an unsuccessful attempt to fool security. Here's an example of how alert operators can be used to protect staff. At first, they couldn't figure out why this man was crawling on the ground. In fact, he was looking up the cashier's dress. The cashier on the phone had no idea what had just happened.
Most shoplifters are under a lot of stress, but you've got to be a seriously cool customer to chat up a policeman while you're on the job.
This shoplifter is very cheeky and goes up to a policeman who is shopping and chats to him. Watch her hands closely. You'll see her hide a CD in a special pocket in her jacket. What many people don't know is that any person, not just police, may arrest anyone who is in the act of committing a crime or has committed an arrestable offence, though they must actually witness the crime themselves at first hand. You can use as much force as is reasonably necessary, though excessive force may end up being an assault. Thieves will often make light conversation with shop staff. It's part of their nervousness. But this lady didn't have much to say when she'd been arrested. Someone must have told this character that the cameras were switched off. In fact, his blatant thieving was caught by 2 different cameras. He really takes his time and asks for advice from sales staff and even other customers. Having made his choice, instead of paying, he decides to hide the electric drill down the front of his trousers. Finding it a little uncomfortable, he takes it out, rearranges things, and then he shoves it down again. As coolly as possible, he strolls out of the store. Unfortunately for him, he quickly discovered that trying to run with a drill down your pants is not a good idea. He was swiftly caught.
It's not just thieves that CCTV monitors, because sometimes even the operators can get caught out.
The job of operating a security camera system is relatively new. It's very demanding. It takes a lot of concentration and discipline, waiting and watching for something to happen. This guy takes some time out to watch TV. Or is it the cheerleader that's caught his eye? These youths are stealing football clothing from this store in South London. The hidden camera is linked to a room at the back where the police watch and wait. As soon as the thieves leave the store, the police arrest them. Over one weekend, they arrested over 20 people.
He will use different methods of operation. For instance, the professional tends to steal at different times to the opportunist.
This is Bravo 2.
The opportunist might feel safe walking into a busy high street store on a Saturday afternoon, you know, hundreds of thousands of people crowded around, and think, well, you know, it's safe, I can steal here, I have the cover of all these people. Not realising that they may be plainclothes police, they may be store detectives, even members of the general public will come up and say, look, you know, that guy's just taken that and he's put it in his pocket. Whereas a professional tends to come in maybe first thing on a Monday morning when it's quiet. Everyone's been out partying all weekend. Monday morning there's a few hangovers, all the staff wants a cup of coffee. You know, they're not really paying much attention to the people that are in the store first thing in the morning. That professional can see where you are, can see where the store detectives are. He's got a wide field. You know, he's got a field he can steal there quite happily, and sometimes very large amounts in one go, and walk out undetected by, you know, sleepy-eyed staff. We, just like the police and just like any other citizen in the land, we are covered by the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. And there is a very, very basic, straightforward definition to what theft is. And that is the dishonest appropriation of goods belonging to another with the intention of permanently depriving the other of those goods. That sounds like quite a mouthful, but at the end of the day, what it means is that our security staff have to see the selection, they have to see the concealment, they have to not lose sight of the suspect up to the point where the suspect leaves the store. Once the suspect has left the store and the security officer has kept permanent contact, that person has proved intent to permanently deprive us of those goods. At that point, and only at that point, would our security staff approach the suspect and make the stop, identify themselves, invite them back to the store, make the arrest, and call the police. Once all of those points are followed to the letter, and then on top of that you have the video to back that up, you've got a case in court.
This youth was caught on camera stuffing clothes up the front of his jacket. He had done this before and got away with it, but this time security were waiting round the corner. He thinks that if he dumps the stolen clothes, they can't arrest him. Wrong. This youth in the doorway spots security waiting for him outside, and as another security man approaches, he decides that the back door suits him better. And he knows a shortcut or two.
There's nothing worse than when you've done everything bar one thing and you can't prove it. So at the end of the day, the video helps to seal those convictions for us. 9 out of 10 shoplifters, once they know they're on video, they're less likely to contest it, it's less likely to go to Crown Court, it's less likely to waste taxpayers' money and security staff and store management's time. Once it's all there on video and it's exhibited in the statement, that's it. Cut and dry, clear, finished.
That's the end of tonight's show. Join us next week for some more dramatic footage exposing offenders caught on CCTV.
The CP